keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs. These are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast.
Boom. What is going on, everybody? This is Jeremy from Brassman Reptiles.
And I'm Robin. I'm creeping it real.
And what the hell was that, Rob?
So my friend Jellybean, she makes these really cool candles, and this is a Ceratophus frog. I think it's a cornuta.
Oh,
A Suriname horned frog, I guess is the common name.
That's cool.
Pretty neat. I saw that at she had one of these at the Raleigh Reptile Show, and I was like, oh, I need one of those. And she's like, take it. I was like, yes.
That's cool. Heck
it looks
yeah,
just
dude.
like a cornuta, just like a very unhappy cornuta.
Yeah. I love it. I dig it. When the camera first popped up, it was kind of low in the screen, so I just saw like above the mouth, so I couldn't really see what it was. So I was like, "What the hell was that?"
It's fucking Hypnotoad.
Amazing. I love it.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm hot. We're in the,
Really?
the middle of this friggin' heat wave.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything,
but bruh, I was very tempted to just have a tank top on for this podcast, but can't have all the chesticles hanging out. So
I mean, says who?
It says the demographic, but
I guess.
Oh man, but no, it's things are going well. Setting up, we're like this is the calm before the storm.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So everything hatches in July for me. So with a couple of exceptions, I have like 23 clutches that are supposed to hatch in July. So it's we're enjoying this downtime while we have it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. I got 25 Borneos that just pipped today. So
yeah, it's wonderful. Everything's great. What could possibly be making us want to jump off a cliff? Huh?
Nothing.
Oh man. But yeah, it's things are good. It's just hot and just prepping for incoming babies. I am stoked because I finally got my Borneo clutch. So yours are starting to hatch, and I just got my stuff in the incubator from that VPI dark trait super stripe to this super stripe from Matt Minatola. So very, very, very excited for that.
Those babies are gonna be so nice.
Yeah, I'm here for all the stripes. And
They're
did somebody
gonna
say
be
holdbacks?
ridiculously striped. Yeah, literally.
Did somebody say holdbacks?
I don't know if I can let any of these go. I think that the downside to that is I think that all of them are just going to be like phenomenally striped. So at a certain point, you're like, I don't know, they're all just really fucking striped. So I can let go a couple.
So that means I have 13 new Borneos.
Yeah. I mean,
that's okay. Rob gets one.
Yep.
Oh man. But yeah, that's the update over here for the most part. How are you doing, Rob?
I am doing pretty good. Baby scrubs that have hatched, the 7.1 of them. All of them ate rat pinks off tongs like immediately. So
that's awesome.
Those guys should be ready to go in the not so distant future, so I can clear up some space. But they all went through their first shed. Great. So I'm excited about that. Like I said, I got 2 clutches of Borneos that just pipped right now. So I've got a granite striped head bred to one of the granite marbles that I produced 5 years ago or something. And so I kind of forgot that the male is also technically het ultra, and at least one of the babies that I looked like, because one of them had already pipped, And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna manually pip the rest of them.
Mhm.
I took a peek and then I was like, what is this thing doing in here? And there's a very ultra-y looking ultra in there. And so I was like, oh, I forgot that was a possibility in this clutch. And okay, I guess there's like an ultra granity thing in there. So that's cool.
Borneos.
Yeah, Borneos. And then the skunk stuff. Whoo! Oh my goodness. Yeah, these are basically like Crystal Glow Leopard Girl. So
Yes.
I took a little peek because they were the pip before. They were on day 63 right now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Should have already pipped it. I was like, oh, I'll just manually pip them. And the stuff that is in there looks phenomenal, like out of this world. It's going to be really freaking cool. I'm excited for those. I've got.
I'm taking a road trip to see Rob in my future.
Yeah. And doesn't it always happen like this? I'm going to be gone this weekend. So like I leave Friday night late or Saturday morning early, and then I won't be back for a couple days. And of course, they just pip on Wednesday, so who knows if they'll all be out by Friday afternoon. I'm hoping that they are, but I don't know. Last clutch sat in their egg for 5 days or something. So
right.
Well,
so this means you're leaving Saturday morning early instead of Friday night late.
It's not really my call, so
right.
I'm tempted to just bring the box over to my mom's and be like, just leave the box someplace. Like, they'll be fine. I'll be back on Tuesday evening. So, like, just make sure they don't bury themselves in the vermiculite. Like, pull them out or wash them or something.
Right.
She would do it. So, like, maybe that's what I'll do. But
there you go.
I got that stuff going on. And then I got a clutch of corn snakes. And I have another clutch that is any moment to be laid. The female that laid the first clutch is back in with a male. Maybe we'll go for a second clutch. She looks thick and everything, so I guess we'll see. And then I'm pretty sure I got one more scrub clutch that is moments away from being laid. I thought she was going to do it this morning because she was in the nest box and everything. So the productive season, can't really complain. Everything is going pretty good. So I think that kind of wraps up stuff I got going on here. That's pretty much as far as like breeding season wise. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, right. Hell yeah, I dig it. It's gonna be an exciting year. I'm very excited to see what all those baby Borneos are looking like, dude.
Oh my god. I'm excited, and I know that I have a feeling that I'm gonna send one to Matt Minatola because they're just like so freaking nice. Like I feel like he just needs one.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes. I'm all back, dude.
Before we get too deep into it, tonight's episode is brought to you by blackboxcages.com. If you're looking for a new rack or enclosure, make sure that you check out Black Box Cages. I absolutely love mine. I am on track to be producing my second clutch of scrubs out of my Black Box Cages this year. So hyped about it. Also, setting them up was super easy because if you let them know things like what sort of heat panels you're using or what sort of lighting you're using, they will route the enclosures for you, so you don't have to do any drilling or finagling of wires or anything like that. It's already pre-routed, so all you got to do is plug and play. That was so nice setting up my enclosures this past year. And then also they have these really neat wire covers for the heat panels because scrub pythons love to pull out the freaking wires out of the heat panels. And I'm like, you guys, this is what's keeping you alive and healthy. Please don't do that.
No, it's a perch that I get to tug out an extra 1.5 inches.
They just like wrench it out. They just like straight up pull it out of the thing. And I'm like, that is not cool. Like, why would you do that? And so I got to get some more of those covers so I can adjust it for the other enclosures that I have, or maybe get rid of those enclosures and get some black box ones. Like,
there you go.
Yeah. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with that because I got one scrub python in particular that if she sees a cord, she pulls it out immediately. Light of heating, no matter what, she sees a cord, she detaches it from whatever it's on. So if it's permanently affixed, it will be broken. And that is just her thing that she likes to do.
Scrubs are fun, right, Rob?
Oh, it's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Oh,
But I
man.
love them, so I won't complain.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yes, go check out blackboxcages.com. Link is in the description. You can see it here going down at the bottom of the screen, and it's in the description of the video. And you can use code Reptile Talk when you check out with your order and save a little bit of money. Because who doesn't want to save a little bit of money right now? And bam, that is that for the business side, which means we're super stoked for tonight's guest because we haven't had him on here in a while. There's so many things that have happened since the last time we've talked to him. So it's going to be great to catch up on a bunch of things and hear what's going on. So let's get him in here. Ryan Martinez, what's going on?
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's
Hell
up,
yeah.
dude?
How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good. How about you?
Good. It's been a while. I feel like I was like one of the first like 10 guests or something like that when you guys first started this podcast. It's been like 5 or 6
think you
years.
were, yeah. Which is also crazy that we've been going for this long, which is it's wild, man.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you, man. Definitely appreciate that. But and thank you for being one of the early guests.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That was my pleasure, man. Always happy to talk to you guys. That's why I messaged you the other day. I was like, man, it's been a while since we all caught up. Like, let's just chat. Let's just have a good time, catch up.
It's so strange to think about that because like I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm doing this thing and he's going and doing this thing and he's traveling, doing this and doing that. And then I was like, when was the last time that he was on the show? What the hell? What the hell's going on here? I was like, we need to get him back on.
Like half a decade, when you think about it like that. It's
Don't say that.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's crazy. Well, it's good to see you guys.
Man. Yeah,
That
same, man. Same.
Good to see you too,
oh man. So what's new with you, man? What's going on?
I mean, everything is new. Yeah. Since we talked last
Literally.
time, so much has changed. I left the country for a little while, went to India, did that. Now I'm back. I'm back at Zoo Miami again. I'm in the Amazon department again, so taking care of birds, reptiles, primates, all that stuff. Just moved into a new house, like just loving life, man. Things are good. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
The room that you're in, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I know that you're very proud of it. That for the people who are not watching in the on the video, basically think of like the nicest museum setup that you've seen for like, tortoise shells and all, crocodile skulls and all sorts of cool stuff. And that is that room.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming, man. I've had all this stuff, packed away in boxes for years because we just never lived in a place big enough to be able to display it and appreciate it. And I've been cleaning skeletons and things since I was a kid, honestly, but like actually collecting things for a while now. And so it's really nice to like finally have a place where I can, have it all out and appreciate it and enjoy it and sit and look at it. And that's what I'm doing right here. I'm sitting and looking at all my stuff, talking to you guys. It's like, it's a good night. So
Hell yeah.
There's some cool stuff in here. Definitely some cool stuff.
Do you have a favorite thing that's in there?
I was just about to ask.
Dude, I don't even know how to pick. Like, so honestly, this one is pretty cool. Actually, I'm gonna try to pull it up here. It's kind of big, but this right here. So I don't know if you guys can see the whole thing. This is a yellowfoot.
Wow!
Like a massive yellowfoot. But this one's really special because have you guys ever heard of the Miami Serpentarium? Or Bill Haast?
I've been there.
So Miami Serpentarium, it was around for decades. It was run by Bill Haast, and he was an absolute legend in the herp community. He's well known for self-immunizing with venom, receiving a ridiculous amount of venomous snake bites, and doing all sorts of really crazy things. It made him an absolute legend in the herp community, especially here in Miami. And this was his personal yellowfoot tortoise that lived at the Miami Serpentarium and was passed down to another biologist friend of mine named Joe Wazalewski, who's sort of like a mentor to me. I've traveled around the world with Joe. I've done a lot of conservation work with him. And so he gave this to me one day, and it was just like, it's like a piece of history. And so this is probably one of my absolute favorite things in this entire room here. I got a lot of favorites, but this one is like it hits home for me.
That's up there. Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
badass, dude. What's the length ish on that carapace?
I mean, it's got to be 24 inches.
That's a
I don't have.
monster.
I don't know if I have a tape measure in here. Otherwise, I'd measure. But it's like 20. It's a big one.
Yeah.
I have 5 really big yellowfoot shells, but like they say the Amazon basins are the the large
That's what I
ones
was
that grow
gonna
big.
ask if it was the basin one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what some people say. I think they get big everywhere across their range, and you don't see a lot of those old animals anymore that are allowed to get to that size. But there's some truly massive ones out there. There's some at St. Louis Zoo that look very similar to. I think they're on exhibit with Aldabras, and like they're very comparable in size. Yeah, like I think one of them is like 225 or something like that. Like just absolutely crazy. Yeah.
God,
Yellowfoot. And I love
That's
yellowfoots. We keep tortoises here. We have redfoots, yellowfoots, radiateds, galops, aldabras, but the yellowfoots, like I love their personality. I just think they're awesome. So yeah, that's a special one for me. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
I think that
Yeah.
those guys don't get their credit where it's due, because redfoots in particular have got so much personality, and then the few yellowfoots I've interacted with also have like this huge amount of personality. The ones that I was working with, like you walk into the room and they come right over to you to check out what's going on.
Yeah, redfoots I definitely think get all the love, and for great reason. Like they're incredible tortoises, but yellowfoots are just awesome, man. Like there's some that you could call their name, not even in sight of them, and they'll just come around the corner looking for you, and they just run over and say what's up and look for food. And and like I always joke around with people, like don't fall asleep around redfoots and yellowfoots because they'll eat you. They love their meat, they love their carry-on, and I don't know, they're just really cool tortoises. So I love them.
When I used to do the tours at Nerd, we had a room that we would keep, let's call the cave room, and the floor is all mulch and dirt and everything. And during the winter time, we would keep the redfoots in there and all the smaller tortoises. And I told anyone, I was like, look, if you've got like bright red colors on your shoes, or if you got painted nails, do not go down there. They will try to eat you alive.
Yeah. They'll sneak up on you too. They're quicker than you think. You'll be watching one tortoise and another 100%. One's coming behind to get you. Yeah, that's great.
The literal ankle
like
biters.
Galops and Aldabras. Oh yeah, they'll bite your ankle. But it's the same thing with the Galops and Aldabras. Like we used to have both of them on exhibit at the zoo, and Galops are pretty peaceful and sweet, and we would do tours, and everybody's like over here, feeding a Galop, and here comes the big Aldabra in the back, like just reaching, trying to bite people, and like we all shuffle to the side, and then he's right back on you 2 seconds later. And so,
oh man,
yeah, they're like the yellowfoot of the giant tortoise world.
That's
right.
They're cool.
That's awesome, man.
I love them. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Is there so you do all the skeletal rearticulation and all that stuff and everything? Is there is there one species, it doesn't have to be reptile species, but is there one species that that's more enjoyable than any of the others to kind of put back together?
To be honest, I hate doing reptiles. as much as I love reptiles, their skulls and their bones are just totally different than mammals. Like a reptile skull is just pieces, and when you do a proper cleaning of them, like if you macerate a reptile skull, you're going to end up with dozens of pieces that you have to put together. You do a mammal skull, and there's like 2 or 3 that you have to glue back together, and then you got to put some teeth in. But let's say you do like a big monitor or a big gaboon viper or something, like it just falls apart into nothingness, and so it's like, it was when I was first starting off, it was really fun. It's kind of like Legos, you just like figure it out, you look at reference photos and stuff. But like years later, I'm like, whenever people hit me up, they're like, yo, will you articulate a full snake for me? I'm like, no, because that's several hundred ribs that I don't want to sit there and glue for weeks at a time and go cross-eyed. And so I don't enjoy doing reptiles. I would say I'm really good at tortoise shells. I've sort of like not perfected, but I've done a lot of them. And so I've come up with my own like method for doing those, and I kind of enjoy them. I like doing croc skulls. Croc skulls are a little bit different. You know, they're bigger, they're more fused than like a smaller lizard or snake or something like that. Croc skulls are cool. And any of the mammals, you know, that's always fun. I don't know. I just like doing all of them. It's, you know, it's interesting. Every project is a little bit different, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's cool. I find myself in some like weird situations though. People calling me like, "Yo, I got this dead thing. You know, you want to come pick it up?" And so like every week, the back of my truck has had just, you know, crazy different animals in it, and it's been like a wild ride. Not that I'm excited about that stuff. You know, it's always sad whenever an animal dies, but you know, my whole thing is I don't like things to go to waste. You know, if it's just going to get tossed away or buried or something like that, like call me, I'll come pick it up. I'll do something with it, you know, and you know, make it last forever. And so that's my whole thing. Yeah.
100%, dude. 100%.
Yeah.
That's freaking wild. Like I'm just picturing all of the things that I've seen people post like Dio around Florida and stuff, and I'm like, oh, there's some pretty wild stuff that's out there.
Yeah, like I guess like if it's within the state, you know, I guess it's legal. But I've done everything from tigers and jaguars to giraffe and big giant Galapagos. Dude, I'll tell you the Galapagos story, the Galapagos tortoise story. This is probably one of the funniest ones. So a buddy of mine calls me up. He's like, "Hey, I don't know the details, but a friend of mine had one of their big galops pass away. He says it died today. You know, what can we do with it?" And I was like, "I'll be right over." You know, no questions asked. Like a big galop, that's a crazy thing to do. So me and Savvy hop in the truck. We go to the address that he sends me, and we pull in the driveway. And I open the door, and I smell it already. Like we didn't even go into the backyard or anything. And like we get out of the truck, and I'm like, "Oh man!" And my friend was already there. He comes walking out of the gate, and he's just laughing. And he's like, I had it. The guy says it died today. And we go back there, and this galop, it was a really big galop. And this thing's arms are like floating because it's bloated so much that they're lifting off the ground, and the head is like lifting. There's liquid fat spraying through the shell, like into the air. So going back to our earlier conversation, I'm like looking at this. I'm like, this is disgusting. And I look down, and there's two redfoots with their heads inside the neck, just eating away at the rotten meat on this thing.
No.
Yeah. So
see, if you gave it 10 years, those redfoots would have had it all taken care of for you.
Oh, you give them another 3 days, and they would have had that thing cleaned up. But like we eventually get it into the back of my truck. I'm like, let's, forget it. Let's do it. And we get it in the truck, and I go to leave, and it's 5 o'clock rush hour Miami traffic. So it's like gridlocked, and I'm sitting in traffic, and the flies are just circling my truck, and people are trying to get away from me. And I already smell, like my hands already smell, even though I had gloves on. Like, oh my God, that was horrible. I spent until I think it was like 3 a.m. when I got finished like carving that thing out. I had like a full suit on, and I was carving it out in the back of this like big property that I lived at the time. And I was working on that shell for a while, and then I left it in the sun to dry. But animals have like fat inside of their bones, and in the sun that fat expanded, and the whole shell just blew up. I came home from work, and there was pieces like 10-15 feet away. No. And so it was a big mess. I ended up using a metal frame, and I pulled all the pieces back together and put a metal frame inside of it and bolted it. And so the shell came out like decent. But it was just a crazy experience, like from start to finish. But those redfoots cracked me up. Like, I have a picture of it. I'll send you guys the picture after the podcast if you remind me. Yeah, you can see the two redfoots there at the neck. It's pretty crazy.
Friggin' savages, man.
Yeah, they really are. They'll eat anything.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was wild. Yeah, for sure.
I think it just goes to show, though, that like people, I don't know about you, but like people who have like pet turtles and tortoises and stuff, they're like, oh, I can't feed it this thing because it's been out of the fridge for a couple hours. I'm like, I don't think you understand what these creatures are eating in the wild.
Yeah.
We always want to practice, best practice, right? But exactly. That thing was dead for a week. Like
minimum. Like
they're fine.
They're fine. They are okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're tanks.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheesh. That's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
Actually, in fact, I actually have this is the skull from that Galop.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So
damn.
even though it's rotten, it actually came out pretty decent. You know,
I'm surprised that it didn't like decay more.
it did. I glued. There's a lot of pieces that I glued back together, like all these
Okay.
sutures. Yeah. No, this whole thing fell apart, and it was
Yeah.
a mess. But yeah, I got it done. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, when you have an opportunity like that pop up, it's like, yeah, I got to do this.
You can't pass it up, man. You really can't. Like you gotta. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, that's like it's my hobby. You know, I enjoy doing stuff like that. So when somebody calls me with like something crazy, you know, I got this in my backyard. It just passed away. Like, all right, I'm leaving work. I'll come get it right now. You know, like that's it. No questions asked. You know, I got to do it. So yeah, I've had some really neat experiences doing that stuff. Yeah.
What would you say like the biggest learning curve has been for like cleaning and articulating things?
Oh my God, stay organized. It's like not my strong suit. It's organization. And like when you're doing multiple projects or when you like separate an animal into different bins, like, you know, let's say you're breaking down a tiger or something like that. Like you might have, you know, the right arm, you know, in one bin, a left arm in that one, the back leg in this one, the body, like stay organized. Don't just mix it all together. Like you can sort it all out at the end, but it's going to save you so much time. And like label your buckets and things like that, because like so many projects I've done, I do it a lot with snakes where I go through like a lot of snakes and I'll do one big batch of snake skulls. And then at the end, because I can tell what they are when they have the skin on them. And then like once the beetles clean everything, I'm like, oh shit, like,
God damn.
okay, what was that again? Like, you know, there's like 4 cobras in a row. I can't tell which cobra is which. And usually I'm able to figure it out. But like, yeah, trying to stay organized. But like it's trial and error. Like I've read countless books. I've talked to countless other people that do bone things, people across the world. Like I've read journals, all sorts of things. And like everybody has like their method that they swear works. You do it like this and it'll work. And you might try that method and it might not work at all. And so it's like, there's no set way to do it. You're just constantly having to like fine tune things and just learn on the fly and learn from your mistakes. Like I've made a lot of mistakes, but you know, after a while you start to just learn little tricks and tips and things like that. And just know that it's never like an exact science. Like you're going to have little fuck ups here and there, but I don't know. For me, like, and everyone's always trying to get me to monetize it, you know, sell. You can make so much money, but it's like it's a hobby for me, you know? And so like, once I start putting a time frame on things and like charging for stuff, which I do sell, you know, here and there. But once I start doing that, then it doesn't become fun anymore, you know? So I got to keep it fun and, you know, keep it a hobby and not a side job, not a part-time job, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. Honestly, if for anyone who's listening, who's like been into reptiles for a long time, once you tie a $sign or like your, you know, your ability to pay your bills to producing snakes, it makes it a lot less fun than if you are just doing it as your hobby and just selling things here and there or give some things away or whatever. You know, it is so much tougher when it becomes your paycheck. And being able to do like what you're doing, where like, okay, I've got these extra shells here that I've had for a while. I got to appreciate them. Maybe somebody else can appreciate them, and you can just kind of move them on to somebody who, you know, will be able to do it. And then you make a little bit extra money on the side, but it's not like, oh, I have to sell this thing.
Right. Yeah, you got to keep it fun, man. And especially when it comes to the live animals and stuff. Like, you know, yeah, we do sell animals and things like that, but you got to remember that they are animals. You know, it's not just a product. You know, keep it in mind that this is a living creature, and yeah, we might make a little bit of money here and there. Some of us, it is our entire, you know, livelihood that we, you know, rely on producing animals and stuff. But never forget that they are a living, breathing creature. You know, but yeah, like I said, you know, if I have 100 redfoot shells or something like that, I can't keep them all. You know, so every now and then I'll be like, all right, I'll give a few to friends, and then, you know, I have to sell a couple for cheap on the side. And it pays for my chemicals to do more, you know, more skeleton projects and stuff like that. That's it.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. 100%.
Keep it fun. Keep it fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't think I've done skeletons, but I did some skins when I was still in New Hampshire. We had a couple, like, there was like a rhino viper and something else that had passed. And I was like, do you guys care if I like try and like tan skins? I just like looked up online how to do it, and they came out okay for like just having never done it before. It took a long fucking time to do, but it ended up coming out pretty okay.
Yeah, it's not easy. I'm not really good at skins either. I pretty much stick to the bones and the shells and stuff. But when you do it right, it it's better than just wasting it. Especially with like something like a rhino viper or something like that. It's such a beautiful snake. I did a really nice rhino viper, and then I donated it to Crocfest, for one of the live auction items, and and that was cool. So then it went to conservation, and it became a whole thing. Because some people look at my room and they're like, "Oh, dude, are you like a trophy hunter or something?" And I'm like, no. Like, I love animals. I love animals. But some of the stuff we do for conservation, I've donated a few skulls and skeletons and tortoise shells to Crocfest and other fundraisers and stuff like that for conservation. So I think it's worth it. I don't want to waste stuff. There's a lot of waste that happens, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
that's fair, dude.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
I think that the rhino viper skin was interesting too because they're so like heavily keeled, like their scales are so different than a lot of other things. So like when I was doing it, I was like, man, I want people to just be able to touch this because you're not going to feel another snake that really feels like that.
There's not much out there that feels like a rhino viper, and it's pretty unique. Maybe some of the Pituophis are pretty keeled, or I don't know, not even that much. It's
not even that much.
Yeah.
I was thinking like the thing that maybe could come close would be like Atheris hispida, the like hairy bush vipers, but they're like this big, so you don't really get the
maybe Ekis, like some of the saw scale vipers. Yeah, I saw a lot of those in India, man. When I was in India, you'd see those cruising around at night. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see those. Yeah,
stressful.
A lot of cobras. Yeah. Bengal monitors, that was kind of cool. Colotes.
Oh, that's cool.
That. Dude, there's Bengal monitors. Like once the monsoon season started, like we got to India in like the dry season sort of, and so there wasn't a lot of movement. There's a lot of cool birds out there. But once the rain started, like I guess everything lives in like the drainage pipes and stuff like that around like the towns. And so once the water starts flooding those pipes, like out comes all the monitors and cobras and saw scale vipers and like the rat snakes, like all the Tyus. I don't remember what species is out there. And maybe it's Carinata. Yeah, they're like 7 feet long though. It's huge.
Damn.
And like that all like every morning, we'd be driving to work and like there's a big rat snake or there's a Indian cobra or at night if you're cruising around like there's little saw scale vipers, like little pygmy rattlesnakes kind of. But they're pretty heavily keeled and they'll sit there and do that S thing and you can hear it audibly. It's a pretty cool sound. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's wild, man.
I would be so tempted. I'd just be like, I gotta pull over every 30 feet because I gotta go look at these things.
Yeah, I'm like sometimes I'd be walking, from one side to another, and I'm like lifting boards and carpets and stuff like that. Like just like, come on, man, let me find something.
You never know.
Yeah, there's some crates out there, and I didn't find any crates myself, but a couple people like found them and like brought them to me and like, look what we found. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Put it down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, lots of cool stuff there.
Yeah, that's wild.
So cool, man.
That's wild. You said you saw colotes out there as well?
Yeah, the colotes were there pretty much all over. And those males are pretty neat when they like have all their colors and they start throat fanning and everything. They're pretty cool little lizards.
Yeah, man.
I like those. Yeah, that was about it for lizards, man. There was a couple, like geckos that we saw, but it was like the colotes and the Bengal monitors, and that was it. But those Bengal monitors are pretty cool. Yeah, I like those.
Hell yeah,
saw plenty of them. Yeah, they'd be just chilling in a drain pipe, like hanging their head out and their claws, like looking around. And then you just see them like walking across the road, all just like they own the place. Man. It was like pretty neat.
That's friggin' amazing. I'd be losing my mind every 30 seconds. Like, dude, look at it.
And it wasn't even like a wildlife hotspot. Like, we were there to work. We weren't there like for herping. And so we were in like the desert, like almost near Pakistan. But if you go to like other parts of India, like there's density of really, really cool animals to find. And we didn't get to go to any of those spots, but I think I'll have to go back one day and check it out because there's some really cool stuff in India. And there's a lot of a lot of endemic stuff that's not found anywhere else. And so, it'd be really cool to get out there and see what they got.
Yeah.
I'd be out there looking for Poecilotheria. I'd be like, yo, what do we got going on here? I want to see some tarantulas.
I didn't see any tarantulas out where we were. Yeah. Which was surprising. I thought we would see something, but there was none.
I feel like they those guys are a little bit tougher to find than they're made out to be. I guess since they're so easy to breed in captivity, it's like I would just assume that they're all over the place. But I think they would put out a document. Those guys from Europe put out a documentary where they were going and finding them out, and they were like finding them underneath cork and like not cork, but underneath bark pieces on trees and stuff. And like if you're not looking in the exact specific place where they are, you're probably never going to see them.
Yeah, we definitely saw like scorpions and stuff, but like I said, it was like scrub habitat, kind of arid. So I don't even know if there's any Poecilotheria out there, but I'm sure there's something. We just probably didn't see it. But it's definitely a neat place.
What I'm doing after this, I'm going straight on iNaturalist and looking up all that stuff.
Yeah, that was me every day out there. Like, okay, what can I find? Like where do I need to go?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, but like I said, there's a lot of cool birds and stuff too. I like birds. We saw a few different species of flamingos, a bunch of different eagles and hawks, and all kinds of stuff like that. So just kind of neat in general. Neat experience to get out there and do something for a little while. It was a little different than life in Miami, but just didn't end up working out. So I'm back.
That's fine. Yeah. Hey, man. It's about the plot. Do it for the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just stepping outside your comfort zone, but I had enough of that, so I came back and I'm happy to be back in Miami.
I don't know if you can talk about this, but can you talk about the harpy eagle?
Can what?
The harpy.
Oh yeah, what about it?
That was so freaking cool.
Yeah, no, we can. It's totally public knowledge, man. They had already put out a couple posts, so yeah, we could talk about harpy eagles. That's all you want.
Dude.
Yeah, we have a pair. We have probably the most prolific pair in the country. I don't know how many other pairs are breeding actively in the U.S. There might be one other pair or something, but ours is owned by San Diego, but we've had them for since like 2007 or 8 or something like that, when our Amazon exhibit first opened up. And they've produced about a dozen chicks or so over the years.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Or I should say that they've produced like a dozen that, made it to adulthood. They've produced plenty of eggs, and sometimes things happen to chicks and stuff like that. That's just natural. But yeah, at least a dozen chicks that made it to adulthood. But this one was born in the beginning of May. We were in Mexico at the time. Doing our horn lizard work, and that we got that text message. Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
We'll talk about that after.
Yes.
But we were out in the middle of the desert, and there's like one little spot that you can get like reception, and we got that text message like, oh, the baby hatched, and they sent us a little picture, and it's just like a little cotton ball, it's just tiny. And we super excited when we got back and saw it, and a week later it's already like this big, and then now we're at 2 months. So when that picture that I posted the other day, that was just shy of 2 months, and that was like the first time that we had pulled the parents into the holding area, and then we went out with the vet up onto the nest, because the nest is like up on top of some rock work, so like the public can't actually see it, but we have a camera so they can watch it on a TV screen that's near the exhibit. But we want privacy for the eagles, and so we got the ladder. We went up with the vet, and there it is. And now it's like the size of like a red-tailed hawk, and it's all looking at us crazy. And
we did. Son of a bitch!
Yeah, it's like, what the hell is that creature? Just a big ugly monkey coming up over the rock work. And so we picked him up, and we take blood, we take feathers to determine what sex it is, and just sort of look over everything: the eyes, the feet, the beak, the wings. Is it growing? We gave him his West Nile vaccine, which we'll have to follow up with a booster in like a month or two. But yeah, it was just a really neat experience, because I've been around bird breeding for most of my career, but I've never been with harpy eagles while they've produced a chick. So it's just a really like neat experience to watch it go from this big to this big. And today I was watching on the camera. He's actually standing and walking around now on the nest. And so like that's like another huge milestone, you know, and it's like watching your kid grow up. I've never had kids, but you know, watching a harpy eagle grow up right before your eyes, where like every other day there's a new thing. Like, oh, today he's eating meat on his own, you know, instead of the parents feeding it to him. Today he's standing up. Like all these milestones are really cool to like watch in real time. So it's kind of cool.
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah,
When I saw the picture,
man.
I was like, okay, that's like probably top 5 coolest pictures I've seen on the internet in like 10 years. That is so freaking cool.
That was pretty cool. I felt very privileged in that moment to be able to you know, actually hold him and you know, just feel like a real harpy eagle, you know. And I've been around the adults plenty of times, but seeing the chick was really cool. And I mean, they're big birds. I don't know if you guys saw our pair when you came to the zoo.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We actually spent like probably 10 minutes out there just staring at them.
Staring at them. Yeah.
I love harpy eagles. Like, I'm not
holy
really big
shit,
on birds,
yeah.
but harpy eagles are cool as hell.
Yeah.
No, they're cool. I love when like people come up to the exhibit and like just the male is up front because he's smaller than the female, and they're like, "Oh my god, like that's just a giant, magnificent bird. Like he's so big." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, look over there at the female," and they're like, "Oh, she's like way bigger." You know, like she's huge. Her feet are double the size of his easily.
Wow.
Like,
damn.
yeah. I don't even know if I could close like my hand around her biggest toe. Like her biggest like halix, the back toe.
Holy shit.
It's big, dude. Like her ankles are massive. Easily twice the size of the male. Yeah, she's a big bird. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
God damn.
Dude.
Yeah. Big looking, but I just weighed her yesterday and she was like 6.1 kgs, which is maybe she's usually like 6.5, but it's like, what is that, 12 pounds, 13 pounds, something like that. So like they look really big, but they don't, it's, you know, they don't weigh a whole lot. But even 12 pounds, like that's still a big enough bird to, you know, carry a howler monkey away out of the canopy.
Freaking sheesh.
So there's really cool photos of like wild harpy eagle nests up in the trees, and when you get a camera up there and look at it, it's just skulls like all over the nest of like monkeys and sloths and anteaters and porcupines and
oh my god, that's so
damn.
cool.
it's like super gnarly. It's like my kind of nest, you know. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Man.
So we'll see what happens with this baby. I think there is a zoo already lined up to take her or him. I don't know what it is yet, but hopefully we'll have like some time before it leaves where I could do like maybe some glove training or something. Because some of the harpies that we've sent out have gone to wildlife presentations and stuff like that where they fly them and things like that.
Oh damn.
So I've been some harpy stuff. I've worked eagles, like flight training with eagles before, but I've never flight trained a harpy eagle. So it'd be kind of cool to do something like that. Yeah, I'd be pretty stoked.
Sheesh.
That is just so freaking cool. Like I like I said, I'm not crazy about birds, but I'm very envious. That is like, think about how many people have been able to interact with the juvenile harpy eagle. It's got to be less than a dozen people on the planet who have done that.
Yeah, it's probably more than that. Like down in South America, there are a few like institutions that work with them and raise chicks and stuff. But yeah, it's a very small number of people that have actually like, you know, and usually people will just let the parents raise them instead of like hand feeding them and stuff like that. We only picked it up because we had to give it its booster shot, you know, and all that stuff.
Test
take
and
blood.
everything. Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't even touch it. But yeah, probably very few people. So I feel very privileged. Like,
Yeah, damn, dude.
So
pretty
freaking
cool.
That's so badass.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Transitioning a little bit from the harpies because they were fucking cool shit. But Phrynosoma. Yeah.
That's my thing, man. That's my thing. That's like I live and breathe Phrynosoma. Did we talk about this on the last? I can't even remember what we talked about on the last time.
We did.
I don't think so.
We might have been just getting this project off the ground. It might not have even have started yet. So we started this in like I want to say it was 2019. It was right before COVID happened. Is when we like started talking about this project. One of my best buddies in the world. His name is also Ryan. He worked at the zoo here with me for years, and then he moved to Phoenix, and he was a manager at Phoenix Zoo. And he's the Phrynosoma nut. He's the one that introduced me to the desert. Like growing up, I was a rainforest kind of person. Never really had interest in going like herping in the desert or anything like that. He's like, bro, come out to Arizona with me one time.
Let me show you.
And like I fell in love,
Yeah.
And ever since then, we go like 3 times a year at least, just herping. So he moved out to Phoenix, and he was talking with the Horned Lizard Conservation Society, like board members, and they're like, listen, there's this one species of horned lizard that nobody knows anything about. Like very, very, very few have been found, maybe less than 20 ever since its initial discovery. Is there something we can do with this? And he called me up that day, and he's like, dude, like we gotta do something with this. Like, I know you're in Miami, I'm here. He's like, but whatever we gotta do, like, let's, start an expedition and go out and look for this lizard. We got a little bit more information, and the reason that lizard's name came up is because there was a ranch owner in Mexico who was finding these lizards on his property, and he was like, these are kind of cool. And so he went to this professor, it was his professor at a university, and he's like, hey, like, what are these? And the professor was like, oh my God, like you have this like incredibly rare lizard. He's like, you just find them on your property? And he's like, yeah. So we, long story short, we chartered an expedition, which was, it was to go and look for this lizard, but we brought a bunch of other people, like entomologists, botanists, all kinds of people, so that we could do sort of like a bio blitz, go out there and just survey this area, see what we could find, see what the habitat is, what kind of vegetation, what kind of animals are we finding. We brought like 30 people out there, and we're like, we don't know if we're going to find one of these or not. Like, let's just go and look. And we ended up finding 19.
Damn.
On this
Holy
trip.
shit.
We spent 2 weeks in the desert camping. Like it's far out in the mountains. There's no like amenities or anything like that. What you bring is what you get. And we just hiked every single day. It was like 110 degrees. It's blazing hot out, and we're just looking for these lizards. And by the end of the trip, we found 19. So we pretty much almost doubled right there the known, vouchered specimens that have ever been recorded. So to go back a little bit, I'll give you the history of the lizard itself. It's called the Ditmars horned lizard, or the rock horned lizard. It's a in the horny toad family. People who grew up in the Southwest, or even in the Midwest, there's a couple species there too. You probably know horny toads. We have the Texas horned lizard. We have the regal horned lizard, and half a dozen others that live out there. And then they go all the way down into the Central America, even up to Canada. Douglasii goes all the way up into Canada, which is pretty crazy. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Yeah. Anyways, this particular one is the most different from all of them. It doesn't really have horns. It's got a big blocky head. It's real short body, very round. It's endemic to Sonora. It's not found in any other state. It was discovered in 1890 and essentially lost until 1970s. Like no one saw one in between 1890 and the 1970s. They launched an expedition to find it based off of the stomach contents of like the type specimen that was within a museum collection. And basically they sent the stomach contents out, like the dirt that was in there, the grass seeds, the bugs, and like all these other scientists chimed in and narrowed down like a generic area. And this expedition went out and they did find them. So between the 1970s and 2019, like again, less than 20 or so have been found. So we went out there, we found 19 the first trip, and back the spring the next year we found 7. And then we started going to different locations within Sonora. And at one trip we found 35, another trip maybe we found 3. And so we've gone back a bunch of times. We put radio telemetry on them. We've sampled all sorts of different habitats and stomach contents and anything that you could possibly think of. Like we're pulling data for it. It's a species that's not listed in IUCN, so they don't have a status. They're not endangered. They're not least concerned. They're just data deficient because no one knows anything about them. So our goal is to give them a status once we establish what that status is. We'll publish whatever paper we need to, and hopefully eventually give them a status. Hopefully it'll be least concern. We don't want anything to be endangered, but if we do find that it is a vulnerable species, we want them to be afforded the protection, that they deserve. On our initial study site, we went out one day, we found a couple, we did our work, went to sleep, in our tents down at the bottom of the hill, woke up in the morning, and there was a mining camp that set up on the very hill that we had radio telemetry to animals on. Overnight, they paved a giant pathway into the hill, just trucked it, flattened it, and set up like these big portable trailers and like all this mining equipment. Mining is very big in Mexico, copper and gold and all sorts of stuff like that. And they just came in and wiped clean a big section of our study site. Wow. So we're like, okay, so this is obviously like an issue, big patches of land, because they're pretty specialized in the habitat that they prefer. And so like, you take away a big chunk of that, and now you've dwindled that population, to maybe a point where it can't recover or something like that. So there's a lot to still, look at, but I don't know. It's going very well. There is another part of the project that started a little bit later on. I can't talk about it yet, but there's some good news that I will have here in a month or two, that I'll be able to share with the world. So you guys look out for that post. It's a pretty exciting one, and we'll be going back in October. And so that's that. That's the Ditmars project. We also have our Texas horned lizard project, which is a little bit closer to home. Obviously, they're in Texas, they're in Arizona, New Mexico, but we actually have a breeding and release program at the zoo where we paired up with San Antonio Zoo, and they basically, there's a lot of development there's a lot of development all over the world, but Texas is a big one, and they are just wiping clean huge areas of habitat. And so San Antonio Zoo got permission to go into a site before they wiped it clean, and they collected as many Texas horned lizards as they could find, which ended up being like 70, I think. Wow. I could be wrong, something like that. They got 70 of them, and then they sent us a few pairs as well, and we've been breeding them with San Antonio Zoo as well, and releasing babies back into a protected area in Texas. So it's one of the only like breeding and release programs that our zoo gets to do, and that's something that we started as well because we love horned lizards so much. So like it really like helps me feel justified as a keeper. Like, yeah, we're actually putting animals like back into the wild, and it's just like super meaningful for us. So those are our two Phrynosoma projects that I just love so much. Yeah.
That is freaking awesome, man. I saw maybe 2 or 3 years ago, somebody had a sticker online that's like just like one of those white vinyl decals, and it's got a Phrynosoma on it, and it says horny on it. And I was like, oh, I gotta get that for my car. And so I got that, I put it on my car. And the other day I was sitting at the stoplight, and this minivan pulls up to me, and the mother looks over at me, and she looks back at the sticker, and she like kind of chuckles a little bit, and then she starts like really laughing, and she's looking at me, and I'm like trying not to like engage, and she like is looking at me, and she like waves her hand. I roll down my window, and she's like, my 10-year-old likes your sticker. And I was like, yeah, they like it's right. And she's like, yeah, I asked him if it was a bearded dragon. He said, no, Mom, it's a horny toad.
All right.
I was like cracking the fuck up.
Everyone that sees our logo thinks it's a bearded dragon. But that's awesome. A 10-year-old knew the difference between a Phrynosoma and a Pagona. That's
Literally.
pretty cool.
I was like, these kids are built different.
Yeah. That's really cool, man, to be able to just see that, especially like on a sticker, not even like a real picture of it, just the outline, like to pick it out and be like, yeah, it's Phrynosoma, Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of cool innuendos you could do with the horny toads. So we have all sorts of fun slogans and stuff. We just launched our other t-shirt design yesterday on Redbubble. So we're going to start putting out a few more designs for people to have some cool Phrynosoma shirts, and try to spread the word, because they get overlooked, man. They're tiny. They camouflage like they're cool lizards. I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll send you the link. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I will promote that.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
think
been a lot of
you're
fun,
right.
man.
It's definitely a lizard that gets largely overlooked.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
You know,
It's cool to
they're
have it
not
get brought
like,
to the forefront.
yeah, they're not like big in the hobby. They can be tough to take care of. Like
Right.
a lot of them are obligate like anteaters, you know, and if you're not providing ants, like you're gonna have a real tough time keeping them alive. We order thousands of ants to the zoo. Like there's a guy that just goes out into the desert with a shop vac and he just sucks up, you know,
What?
colonies of ants,
Ridiculous.
packs them up in deli cups.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he ships them to us and we keep them in the fridge and that's what we feed. You know, we use these little ant feeders that we made out of deli cups and that's what we feed the cornutum, the Texas horned lizards mostly. They'll eat like pinhead crickets and mealworms here and there, but yeah, they're big into ants. The solaire, that's the regal horned lizard, like pretty much only eat ants. Like they won't really touch anything else.
It's wild.
Do you guys do the thing with the stick where like they crawl up and down the stick? Yeah.
Yeah, if you just like sprinkle them into the enclosure, like, you know, they can withstand getting bit, but those ants will just gang up on those lizards and, you know, just pull them apart. And they'll also try to start their own colony. Like they'll dig into the sand and stuff. So yeah, so we use the deli cup. We have the dowel in the middle, so they just crawl up and down it. They can't get out, and they still do. There's still, you know, sometimes like they'll go to lick an ant off, and they'll just end up flicking it, you know, behind them. And so like you're constantly like trying to grab ants and like put them back in the deli cup, and you're just getting stung and bit on your fingers. And
you gotta rehire the guy that's going to suck them out of the wild.
Yeah,
just be like, hey,
come on
to the
over here
enclosure once a month, man, and just catch all these loose ones for us.
That's what you have interns for, you know. Make the
that
interns
is what
go in
you got
there.
interns for.
I got a project for you guys today. You know?
Like we get to work with the lizards. You're like close.
Kinda.
Nope.
Kinda.
You'll be scooping poop and getting bit by ants. But yeah, they're really cool. We have Ozio at the zoo too, the giant Mexican giant horn lizards, and that means nothing on a camera, but they're big. Yeah.
They look bigger in person.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're Phrynosoma obsessed, man. Me and Ryan, they call us Dos Ryans down in Mexico. Like when we go down there, like it's just, that's all we talk about. We eat, sleep, and breathe Phrynosoma, and it's been a ton of fun. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I like that. It's a good project. Yeah.
I really want to see some of those regal ones in person because all the pictures I've seen of them, they just look phenomenal. They look so interesting. And I think the ones that I saw when I went to Arizona were shorthorn ones. I don't remember what species they were.
That's roundtail. What part of Arizona were you in?
I was kind of all over the place, but I think I saw those ones near Page, which is kind of like northern Arizona.
Oh, Hernandez Eye. Maybe, yeah, like greater shorthorn lizard, Hernandez Eye.
Yep.
That's up in the mountains. Yep. Like, yeah. Those are really pretty. The solaire, cool, you know, they have that crown. The regals have that crown of horns. Like, bro, that's like, so what we do, we have like our traditions, you know, like anytime we go to Arizona, we fly into Tucson, and right outside of Tucson, like 10 minutes away from the airport, there's a bike path park kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And every single time we fly in, we get our rental car and we go right there. And like there's a population of regals that lives right there. Or like if we can get, you know, a Phrynosoma within 30 minutes of getting off the plane, like it's going to be a good trip.
Yeah,
so
we're doing a good trip.
Yeah, we go there. We go to Filiberto's, get a steak burrito, and then we go look for Phrynosoma real quick. And then boom, we got a regal. Like, all right, our trip's going to be good. And then we'll go down to the Huachuca Mountains. Awesome. We'll look for Hernandez Eye and Clobs and stuff. And yeah, so we have like our traditions, but. Yeah, they're all beautiful. They're all different. They're all, you know, just unique in their own way. And it's a really cool group of lizards that I wish more people paid attention to. There's hobbyists out there that keep them, especially like the Ozio. They do pretty good on a varied diet, but a lot of them get smuggled over the border. So like when you're buying them, you got to really like know what you're looking for and know which species. Like if you see somebody offering a bunch of tourists or something like that, like from deep South Mexico, like nobody's breeding those. You know, so they got brought in. So you got to look out for those things. And yeah, those wild caught ones are tricky to get started too. But little by
Mhm.
little. There's people breeding them and producing them, and there's some cool stuff out there. So maybe they'll catch on one day.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think that as people are shifting from the okay, I need 150 animals to I want to have a couple animals and give them a really nice enclosure. I think that is a situation where those guys would do really well because if you set them up with a cool desert enclosure, a
Yeah,
8x6x6 enclosure, and you make it look like the desert and set up, the little
Yeah.
feeding stations and
Yeah.
stuff. That'd be a really cool enclosure to just watch.
Oh, yeah.
And
They're
active
fun.
lizards, though.
Yeah, they can be for half the year. Once it hits
Yeah.
like certain time of year, they'll literally bury under, and you won't see them for 6 months. Like that's it, they're gone. But if you have other stuff in there, like chuckwallas, collared lizards, stuff like that, like it keeps the activity going, so you can see things. And then like when he wakes up one day and he's eating ants, you're like, oh, my buddy's back. All right, that's cool. But I'm all for having less animals and bigger. That's why I sent all my stuff to Jeremy. If it got so overwhelming and I wanted to do so much better for my animals that I finally like cut down, and I have one pair of frilled dragons here, and that's it. They're living their best life outside in a big enclosure, and that's my only priority. So I come home and deal with them, and it makes me feel happy. Yeah, it's more fun to watch, and I think it's better for everybody all around. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Definitely support that. Yeah. Yeah. How are all the snakes, man? Everything good over there?
They're doing great, man. They're doing great. I was just getting annihilated by Ruschenberger earlier today. So, they're doing great.
Yeah. That means they're doing well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything's fine, Ryan, except my red blood cell count. But
You're welcome. You're welcome.
No, everything's doing great, man. I don't know. Did I send you pictures of the new enclosures?
No, you told me you were going to, and then you didn't.
Okay. Oh, well, I have to. I will do that after this episode is over.
Okay. Yeah, send them over, man. I'm excited to see it. I'm happy everything's with you, man. Yeah. Stoked about it.
I'm definitely stoked about it. Everything's been settling in really well. So I'm stoked, and I'm hoping to have that patternless male Amazon in breeding rotation for 2026. He just recently shed, and there were sperm plugs attached to that shed. So
nice.
I was like, yeah, buddy, now we're getting somewhere.
Yes.
What's he looking like now? Is he looking any different?
So he's still
Is he like lightening up?
He's lightened up a little bit. He's gotten this interesting patch of orange. It's like a very dull, muted orange, but towards the back end. So he just shed the other day. So I'll send you some pictures because he's still nice and bright. Because I saw it maybe a couple months ago, and at first I was like, oh crap, what the hell happened? Like, what get this red mark on him or whatever? And I was like, oh, it's just like this weird paradox of orange. Just kind of starting.
I think he had that. Yeah, I think I might have a picture of it was only like a few scales in the beginning, so maybe it's growing a little bit or becoming more apparent to you. But I definitely noticed something like on the back, like right side or something like that. Like
I think
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I was so stoked when I saw that snake. I was just like, when I opened that crate or bag or whatever it was, and I was like, what? Because there was leopards around him, and then that thing was in the middle of all these leopards, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Just give
that's
me
coming home with me.
Yeah.
I bought the whole bag. Yeah, all those leopards are from that shipment.
Hell yeah.
So I bought everything in there. I was like, let me just get them all. And there was that one like really light looking leopard. It's like real light gray with the saddles, and then the rest are like pretty normal looking. But then there was that granity looking thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked to see what he. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tempted. Because of course I want to see if it's of course going to prove out to be genetic, if we can make some just patternless Amazons for sure. Hopefully it would translate over into color. And then and then
there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, we'll be like, okay, well if it can translate into color, wonderful. And then then we start to see how it would interact with stuff like leopard and tiger, and if those patterns would fight. if you get stuff to kind of bleed through, or if it's just something that would totally obliterate it and just make patternless snakes all the way through. So I'm stoked, man. The fact that he's starting to produce plugs, I'm like, all right, it's game on. We can start getting this going, man.
Yeah. What do you like? What's the first thing you think you want to plug him into? Like, it's hard to like.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with a red patterned animal, and just try to see if we can get it into color. Because of course we don't know if it's going to be recessive or codom or what anything like that. So I have a smaller female that I think would kind of be perfect for him, because she's not super big, but she can produce a decent sized litter. Because he's not super big, but he's crossing over into that line of being ready to go. So I think that'll be the start. And we'll see what we get out of that, and then they'll all be holdbacks.
All of them. They have to be. We got to see where this goes. It's
we got to figure it out. Yeah. But I'm stoked for it, man. I can't wait to see what comes of it for sure.
Me too, man. I'm ready for it. And you had a baby leopard too, right? Or two of them, or something like that.
A couple
from that big pair?
I had a couple baby leopards. So one of them. And ironically, it was the one that started eating right off the rip. Ended up just rolling out of nowhere, and I was like, well, unfortunately, it happens. The other one's doing well. So, yeah, man. So we're just moving right along with them, and that pair, exactly. And that pair is crushing it. Like, that female's already back to being freaking fat and happy and wonderful. So I'm like, are you going to be the girl that's always cycling at the end of the year that's giving me January baby? It's like,
you take what you can get, right?
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. But there's always going to be one that's got to just throw everything off.
Always that one. She's a pretty one too. That pair that came in on different shipment, I think. And I saw them. I was like, I like them. I'll take them.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool looking.
They're pretty. So. They're pretty, and they're all every single one of them except Mr. Patternless is super tractable, and they're cool with being handled and everything. That little patternless male is like, "Don't you touch me! Don't you touch me!"
That's why we love them, though. That's like one of the main things that drew me to ATBs. Back in the Amazon Alliance days, Rob. Like when we were just getting started off. Like, I love that spicy attitude on them. So it's cool. You got to have one or two that keep it real. Like the Rushis.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Yeah, no. So I'm definitely stoked for that. And I was doing a podcast the other day, and we were talking about getting tamer Amazons and what we expect with more captive breeding and stuff. And I was like, I'm like, captive bred animals largely seem to be what is that, Rob? Oh, is that an Amazon Alliance board?
Longboard, baby.
Dude.
Hey.
That's sick, man. Wow. Urban Jungles Wow. Old school. Kicking it real old school.
Oh man, but I was like, captive bred animals more often than not seem to be pretty chill. And I was like, but I do have this one. She'll be five this year, and she just wants me dead every second of the day. And I'm like, there's always gonna be one, and that's okay.
You gotta love those, man. I've always been into the ones that are troublemakers. Like with any animals I've worked with throughout the years, like there's always the one that's off to the side where everyone's like, oh, we don't mess with him, And I'm like, no, that's the one. Like,
no, that's the one. Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna be buddies. Even if we're never buddies, we're gonna be buddies.
We're gonna be buddies. Yeah, in my mind,
we'll tolerate each other. I guess.
Yeah. I always love the tough cases. So
they
keep it real. They keep it real.
Absolutely, man. But they're all crushing it. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked for these Rushis to just keep growing and getting them up to size and seeing what we can do with those guys too. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, they're well started, man. They're already midway, but they get huge, those Rushis.
Yeah. So like, how far can we push this pair? Maybe they'll be like whenever Bill Hughes posts like pictures of those females. Like he puts them on his like fence post, and I see their heads and how small the eye is compared to the rest of the head, and I'm like, dude, that is a massive tree boa. Right. Like, it's like, holy shit. And,
exactly.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful looking snakes. So hopefully these get that. Not all of them are going to attain that size, but hopefully they get close. It'd be pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited about it. And then of course the annulated male too is he's doing great. And I would love to be able to find a female for him at some point too. So I'm keeping my eyes open for that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep my eyes open too. I haven't been on Morph Market in a while, but I'll keep looking. Yeah. I'll keep looking.
Man, if you find one, definitely let me know for sure. I think was it Ian Bissell had a litter the other year, and I was like, man, I'm tempted, but he never has sex listed on them, and he won't sex them when they're young, and I'm like, oh man, I don't need two males. I don't need two males. So I'm like, if you end up getting stuck with one and you get to a point where you're comfortable sexing it.
I think I told him the same thing because he had all those babies, and I was like, should I? And I was like, I don't think you need to spend $900 and then have another male or something like that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Maybe I'll shoot him a message, see if he held any back that turned into females or anything.
Yeah, that's fair. That'd be cool. Yeah, because I would love to have a little. Well, we've got the Corrales diversity happening.
Yeah.
So.
That's an underrated species, the annulatus, man. We have them at the zoo, but we just throw them in random exhibits, as like kind of like a secondary thing, and they get big. I don't think people realize how like heavy bodied those annulatus get, but they get pretty thick.
Yeah.
And they're super sweet. Like I don't know about that one, but he was always cool with me. But all the annulatus we have at the zoo are super easy to handle and like very mellow.
Yeah, I think that very first video that I ever posted of him, he had like taken a snap at me, but ever since that point, he's been super chill.
Yeah,
he's just super, super wonderful. So yeah, it's a cool snake. I like when people come over and I'm showing them a bunch of Amazons and I pull him out and they're like, that looks a little different. And I'm like, because it's not an Amazon,
because it is.
Exactly, yeah. And I just like getting the chance to talk to people about it. And then I'm like, and then over there, and as soon as you point, you just hear "tung" is Rosenberger.
It's like the Belgian Malinois of Corrales. It's like they'll come shooting through that glass just to get you in the face, over and over and over again.
Yeah. And I'm mad that they're so accurate in comparison to the Amazons.
They'll get you right in the face,
man. Yeah, dude, it's like I had already had a young male, and that's been my experience with him ever since. And these ones are the same way, man. Like as soon as you go into that enclosure, they're like, what? Exactly. And you're just like, okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like a fist fight every time. It's kind of the same with those. I got those Oxybellus that I was doing for a while. The fulgitus, the big giant green vine snakes. Yeah. You want to talk about like accurate face biters? Like those things. It must be eyes that they target into, and they're long. Like they strike way farther,
deceptively long,
way farther than you think they can strike, and they'll get your face real good.
Yeah.
But those were cool snakes too, man. We had some babies come out of those, and man, it's like some of those adults were eating like medium quail. Like they were like big vine snakes.
Yeah.
And just like they actually calmed down pretty good after like a few months, but in the beginning, like super accurate. Yeah, cool. Which I love. I love that.
Yeah,
but cool snakes.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. No, I definitely love the stuff that you've got to be on your toes for, man. Like it's fun to just hold a snake, but it's also fun to really have to interact and figure out what the next move is going to be.
Yeah. And I did all that stupid shit with cobras and everything like earlier on in my career, but it's a little bit different when you're not like in front of a crowd trying to like impress people and do crazy shit. Like when it's just you and that snake and you're just like, seeing what they can do, you're like seeing that snake in action. It's a more special moment. It's kind of cool.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
That's why I keep scrubs.
Yeah.
So
that's not for the lighthearted.
Right to your limits.
That is not for the lighthearted, and those get big. A lot bigger than Amazons. So that's a dangerous animal.
Potentially, yeah. Luckily, I don't
Potentially.
have. I've only got like one that will like really chase after you. Most of the rest of them, they're like, leave me alone. And then once they're
Right.
out, they're chill. But like the mom of the babies that I just produced, she is something else. She's different. You know how you're like, oh, we're gonna be had that with her. She's not want to be friends.
And that's all right. We ain't got to
That's
be.
all right. Yeah.
Right.
Because you're beautiful.
She's 8 feet long right now, so like not too big of an issue, but I could see it being an issue at 15 or 16 feet long.
Yeah, that's a real potentially dangerous animal, man. And
Yes.
yeah, it ain't a Burmese python. You know, they think a little differently, and
Yeah.
not that a Burm is, you know, a puppy dog either. The wild ones could be a handful, but a scrub python is a hell of an animal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
It's a good group of snakes. Yeah.
Tara says she's only offering frenemies.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Frenemies.
Tolerates me when it's feeding time, and then all the other times she's like, I will stab you in your sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
bet
how are
she
you
has a
gonna
name,
stab
too.
me? You don't have any hands, and she's wrapped around a knife, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry,
Right.
I'll find a way.
Yeah.
I'll find a way.
Yeah.
That is literally her.
I love it. I love it.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Oh man.
Ugh,
The
too
fun.
much.
The fun. It's okay. No traumatic experiences. We're good. Everything's fine, guys.
It's all good.
Oh man. Right. That's
As long as you come out alive.
Yep.
Right.
I still have all 10 fingers, so we're cool.
That's true.
Me too, man. I've done a lot of crazy things with Crocs, and I've had a couple of venomous bites, but I still have all my fingers, man. So I'm doing pretty good in life, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Can't complain.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
I,
man.
I still have pain though. I'll say that my worst venomous bite, this wrist and these fingers don't work the same as they used to, but I still have them, and that's what counts. Yeah.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof. Oof.
Oof. That was a long time ago too.
Yeah.
That last one was 2016, I think.
Jeez. It's almost 10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago.
Almost, yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I didn't have this many
damn.
grays back then, man. Time was
Dude, I
flying.
don't want to talk about it.
You too? No.
Oh yeah. And then
Ah. Yeah, you can't outrun time, man.
Nope.
It's just
For all of us, and that's why we got to herp now while we're still able to.
I'm gonna do it till the day I die. Ain't gonna get me off those mountains.
Legit.
Yeah. Once I can't walk him anymore, that's it. Just take me out. If I can't go
Yep.
look for Phrynosoma
That's
and
a
drink
wrap.
beer, like I don't care anymore.
Like, what else do I have to live for?
I got nothing else. That's it. Take me
That's
out
it.
into the desert, lay me under a cactus, and just walk away.
Yes, dude. When I was
Yeah.
out there with some people doing some herping in like southern Utah, northern Arizona area, we were at this spot that was supposed to have some Phrynosoma over there, and we like took this dirt road that kind of just like meandered off, and we end up at these water troughs, and we're like, oh, what the hell are these water troughs doing out here in the middle of the desert? And they must have been some cattle farmers who are in that area. But I go down this little hill, and there is half of a cow skeleton there, but it's not all together. There's like
Yeah.
a pelvis over here and some ribs over here and a vertebral column over here, and they're like picked clean and bleached white. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how long have these been out here? Because these are not fresh. This is not like something that just happened recently. And then I was thinking, if I had an accident out here and I'm by myself, I'm going to end up just like these freaking bones out here.
Oh,
No
yeah.
one's going to know.
That's a common sight out there, man, is like cow skeletons, exactly like you said. But there's puma out in the desert, mountain lions. They'll take a cow down, or if they die from exhaustion or whatever it is, like there's coyote and everything else out there that'll just pick it clean, and then the sun just bleaches the rest of it, and that's it. But you'll find cow skeletons everywhere, and the same thing will happen to you if you die out there.
Yes.
Jesus.
Those coyotes will pick you clean, and that's it. The sun will do the rest.
And then
Yeah.
some poor herper will find me someday when they're lost on the trail looking for earless lizards or freaking
Still with the snake
desert
hook in your
iguanas.
skeletal hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, if that happens, I need that to go on a t-shirt. It's just the skeleton arm wrapped around the snake hook.
Dude,
I'd wear that.
yeah.
Herp till I die.
Yeah.
Till I die, absolutely.
Okay, I gotta talk to Justin Smith.
I like
got
that.
a new shirt
Yep.
idea.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
I'll buy one of
The-
those. I'll buy one of
The
those.
the Rob edition will be with the skull and gauges underneath.
Yeah. Just two big old plugs next to his skull. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. That's got to be a t-shirt somewhere. That needs to be
Yeah,
your new
it's gotta
logo or
be.
something, Rob. Just a skull
The
with the big
internet.
plugs, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, you guys are going to wake up to a DM with somebody
DM.
that already has that design.
Yes.
And it's going to
Exactly.
be awesome.
Sold.
Yeah.
I'm paying
Sign
commission
me
on
up.
it. I already know.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Herp till I die.
Yeah.
Just saying, man.
till I die.
I'm
That's all I wanna
the same way.
do.
If I can't herp anymore, what's
Yeah.
the point?
Right.
What's this all about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh man.
I love it.
What, you want me to go to
Well-
shuffleboard? You want me to go to pickleball? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
If I can't even road cruise, what's the point? When are you guys coming
Yeah.
down to Miami next? We got a road cruise or something.
Dude.
We do. So we've been talking about doing like a whole Florida expedition and like flying into southern Florida and then just
Yeah.
getting a rental car and just kind of zigzagging our way up the state. We've been talking about doing that for a while, and
Yeah.
we still haven't made it happen. I think this needs to be the year that we make it happen.
I mean,
Do it.
let's fucking do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
I think so.
I'll show you guys
after we
around. Yeah, do it. So like if I was going to suggest it, I would say October.
Mhm.
That's my favorite time of year in Florida. That's like rattlesnake season, like when it starts picking up.
Ooh.
And like if you want in October, you could do, if you start in South Florida and you like kind of drive up to North Florida, you could get all the venomous snakes of Florida in one trip if you herp it right. You know, if you like hit the spots and everything. So, you know, come down south and try to get a berm, you know, like that's one thing. It's not venomous, but get your cottonmouth, get your coral snake, you know, get an eastern diamondback, pygmy, and then book it up to North Florida, try to get a canebrake in Osceola, and then, you know, go over and try to get the copperhead. If you could do that all in one trip, like I like doing stuff
That would
like
be
that.
lit.
Like, you know,
that'd be badass.
can we get all the Phrynosoma in Arizona in one trip? Can we get all the venomous in Florida in one trip?
Yes.
So, yeah, if you guys plan something, like I'll tell you some spots to go and check it out. Try to knock off some stuff along the way, meet some people, and do kind of cool stuff like that.
Hell
Yeah.
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 That'd be
That'd be cool.
badass. I think we need to make that happen.
So the
Yeah.
first weekend in October, I have a wedding to go to, but after that, I think I could probably
Yeah.
work something.
I'll be in Mexico at the end of October, but you know, in between that 1 week in between.
Yeah,
Right.
the golden
Yeah.
zone, the Goldilocks zone.
I'm looking now, and I'm like, not the last week, but the week before the last. So like right after
Tinley.
it's 2 weeks after Tinley, I think.
Mm.
Because Tinley's the second weekend. So I think the 2 weeks after Tinley, I have basically that whole week. That's the week of my birthday.
Hey,
Okay.
So
October gang. All right, man.
yeah,
Yeah. Are you going to Daytona?
I'll be
yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you guys at Daytona. I'll be there.
there. I'll be there
Um,
Wednesday to Monday, I think.
Okay.
I think we're coming in Thursday to Monday. I think that's what we're doing.
I'll probably just be there for a day or two. Just going to ride up, just check it out. You know, I ain't
Yeah.
buying anything, but just to go see all the people and see what's going on.
The last
hell
couple
yeah.
of years, I've gone out in the morning and just go road cruising until the show opens, so I don't have to stand in the line. I road cruise until the show opens. I'm like, okay, it takes 15, 20 minutes to get back over there. I'll go eat some breakfast real quick,
Yeah.
walk around the show for a little bit, hang out with people,
Yeah.
talk for a bit, shoot the shit.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll plan it. We'll do something. We'll get together when you guys come down for Daytona, and then we'll plan the October trip if that ends up working out or whatever. But
Hell
that'd be
yeah.
pretty tight.
Yeah.
It'd be good to see you
It
guys.
definitely would
Yeah.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
same for sure. Yeah, because we
hang
I
out more
think
than a couple hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Please. It's always just a short stint, but if we could do something a little bit longer, that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm here for it, bro.
Let's do it.
Right.
Sign me
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because we've been talking about doing this trip for probably like the last 2 years.
Yeah, at least a year. Yeah,
I think.
maybe
Yeah.
a year and a half. Because before we did, we went out to Ty's place
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did the Iguana Land, Gator Land
and
adventure.
Gatorland. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Or if you come down for
So-
Croc Fest, that's always fun too. It's only a 1-day thing, but it's always a good time.
Yeah.
There's
when is
there's
Croc
always
Fest?
So there's always like a winter and a summer. Although I think they're going to start splitting it up between Texas and Florida. So Texas might take one, Florida might take the other.
Mhm.
But usually the winter one is at like St. Augustine Alligator Farm or something
Oh.
like that. So yeah, which is
That
a cool
would be
place.
so cool. I have not been
Yeah.
there yet.
Same. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. They got all the species of crocodilians, that you can see, and they'll let you in the back and tour it around because it's Croc Fest. So all the Croc Fest people get to, go see everything and talk to the keepers, and then you have like the live auctions and stuff like that. And it's always a good time. So yeah,
Hell
I don't know,
yeah.
just throwing out some ideas. We just got to make something happen. Miss you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed you.
Same, man. Same. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I cannot believe that it's already been 5 years. Like, oh my god.
It's crazy. Yeah. I was thinking about it like this morning. I'm like, it's really been like 5 fucking years since we did that first one. Like, where
Yeah.
did the time go? It's
Well,
crazy.
think about it. When we went down and we went to Carpet Fest, and we went down and visited you at the zoo. That was 2020, right before the pandemic happened.
Yeah. Shit, that's
Okay.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Right?
That's right.
Jeez.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
The last fun had no.
The last. Yeah, that's right. Right. Damn.
Yeah. I think we had just gotten that one Komodo
Yep.
that we took the picture with. Yeah. She's still here too. Wow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was a while ago. That's crazy.
Too long.
Damn. It's
Yeah.
too long for sure.
All right. Well, let's plan something, man.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
ready.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Cool.
I
Hell
dig
yeah.
it, dude. Well, thank you so much for coming to hang and chat with us, man. It was great to take some time and catch up and talk awesome
Yeah.
stuff.
Dude, it's my pleasure, man. I've been wanting to talk with you guys for a while, so it's good we finally made it happen. I'm always happy to do this. Yeah. Love you guys.
Hell yeah.
It's always fun.
Hell yeah. All right.
Hell yeah.
So before we wrap it up, we got to ask everybody our final question. So that question is what, and we probably already know the answer, but what in the realm of reptiles has you excited about reptiles right now?
Oh, Phrynosoma.
Yeah.
It's always Phrynosoma, man. No, that's our main project, and it's a actual conservation project, and so that's just like all we talk about all day at work. Is our two Phrynosoma projects. So pretty stoked about that. If there's anybody out there that's listening, you want to hear more about what we're doing, just message me. I'm always happy to talk about it. And then when you're done listening, just tell me to shut up because I will continue to talk about Phrynosoma for long after you're done listening.
So what you're saying is we need to do another episode with the other Ryan and have you guys just talk about Phrynosoma for a full episode.
Oh, dude, you guys would love him, first of all, and it would be a hell of an episode. He's just super, super cool dude.
Dude, I'm so down for that. Oh, do we freeze?
Nope.
I think we froze. Whap.
StreamYard was like, that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, you will not discuss. You will not discuss these for an entire episode. No.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Oh no, now Rob. Okay, you
Horn
froze
toads
for
are
a
awesome.
second. You froze for a second as soon as you said yes, we will, and I was like, uh oh, everybody's getting taken out.
It's a conspiracy.
Oh man. Oh man, we lost Ryan. Maybe he'll pop back in. But if you wanna follow Ryan, I'll put his Instagram down in the description below. I think it's zookeeper_Ryan. So you can go check him out. And yeah, go see all the awesome stuff that he's doing at the Miami Zoo and all these awesome conservation projects and so much more. Yeah, it couldn't have been planned any better for sure. So let me see. Did he message me? Oh yeah, he's texting me right now. Oh, his phone died.
Ah,
Oh man.
that's okay.
No worries, dude. Oh man. But yes, go check Ryan out on Instagram. Perfect. Yeah, he's like, I gotta go plug it in, so we'll just have to call it there. I'm like, no worries, man. No worries. So yeah, go follow Ryan. I'll have the link down in the description below so you can go check him out. Thank you guys so much for hanging and listening to the podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, feel free to leave us a rating and a review. That would be awesome. And yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. Stay tuned for the next episode, and bam, that's that.
We'll catch you next time.
We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.